Sit back and enjoy the best of Ron and Fez on 106.7 WJFK.
This is the Ron and Fez Show on 106.7 WJFK.
That Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, does it still matter to you, Fez, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Sure, I always love to see who makes the cut and who doesn't make the cut.
Yeah.
I mean, every year it seems like a lot of people go in.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's always interesting to see where you draw that line at.
Yeah. You want to make it, to me, a good Hall of Fame is tough to get in.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very difficult. So probably baseball, the best of all Hall of Fames, because you leave out so many people.
Sure, and it's like a lot of times you'll get frustrated with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because you'll see, like, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers go in, and Tom Petty also is a solo artist.
Right.
Now, when you start just letting everybody in like that, and people get to go in more than once,
I could see that if you were in for different groups. You know, like you're in the Hollies and Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. But then you know, add those two things with the fact of your solo work. So you're going in 3-4 times.
Right. If you're, you know, because then how many busts do they have to make?
Right.
How many little half statues?
I don't think they're doing that. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Where is that, Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland's got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Get in. I mean, that should be great.
Right.
Why do you need to also get in by yourself?
Right. You're not going to put Babe Ruth in for his work with the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Braves.
Right. The Babe just goes in.
He goes in, and you leave it at that.
And you say, and then you have an exhibit. You say, here's his career.
Right.
Here's what he did here. Here's what he did here. Here's his stats. Here's his hits.
Very good. I wish you and I were running that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. We clean up. I'd love to see the junk we throw out the first day.
Oh,
just send it out on the curb.
If you think one doo-wop group is going to make it. You know, that whole art form died off, so nobody should get it. If it stayed, but it's a cul-de-sac.
Sure.
You know? That's no highway, that's a cul-de-sac.
End of the road, baby. Here's the thing, have some staying power.
Right.
Have some lasting power.
Now, how would you like, did Ozzy go in yet?
I'm not sure if Ozzy's in.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Ozzy might be in.
Ozzy gets in, but Sabbath never does.
Right, yeah.
How would you like to feel?
Sabbath again, no.
Yeah. That would be like me looking over. Yeah, Fez is in, but the Ron and Fez show isn't. And I'm going, great. What, man? Did I drag him down? His time with me, I must have just had my heels dug into the dirt.
Well, the Fezatorial's in, but nothing else. That's about it.
All right, Wonderboy, you're trying to tell us something? You break in.
Oh, true. Yeah, I was saying that Ozzy by himself isn't eligible yet, but I was just talking to Eddie. He knows a whole bunch of the people that are actually in and out the rock and roll bands. He's saying Kiss isn't in yet, and AC/DC didn't even make it in the first ballot.
All right, come on over, Eddie Trunk. I didn't know you were here already.
We didn't know you were sticking around. Eddie Trunk.
What's up, boys?
Yeah.
Welcome to D.C.
How's things down there?
Great. We were in a long conversation about you today.
Uh-oh.
There's a lot of love. There's a lot of love for Eddie Trunk.
A trunk full of love.
Well, that's good to hear. I have a lot of love for D.C.
Yeah, we know that. What's happening with your show tonight?
Jerry Cantrell.
Really?
Yeah, he's playing, actually. I'm going to go intro him. He's playing in the World down the street on 42nd Street. He goes on in about an hour, so I'm going to run down there, do a quick intro, and then I'm going to come back and do the show. The last 11 o'clock start on my Friday show.
Yeah, they keep pushing you back.
My buddy David Letterman now. What a lead-in, huh?
Right. Now you got David Letterman.
Now you're the radio Craig Kilborn.
That's what I said. How could I be upset to have be able to say, hey, I go on after David Letterman, you know? But that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing, I mean, that burns my ass every single year. It is such a joke. It's not even funny.
Because they won't be nice to the metal people, right?
Well, it's not even so much of that. I mean, first of all, they shouldn't have called it the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because the first few years of inductees weren't even rock and roll artists. They were, you know, they were R&B and different, you know, soul. And I know that
Beethoven went in that first class.
But I always thought that rock and roll covered all that spectrum.
I guess. But, I mean, I just don't know how you legitimately... First of all, AC/DC, it took them 3 tries to get them in. You got to be kidding.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Kiss, one of the most influential bands of generations...
Of
is
lunchboxes.
Well, whatever, but they're still not in. Do you know that Kiss has sold more gold records than any other American recording artist in history?
No, I didn't know that.
In rock history, yeah.
Maybe it's because they put out 3 a year.
Could be.
All right, so...
You hear Earl in there just howling.
Yeah, I know.
But no Sabbath, no Leonard Skinner. I mean, the list goes on and
Now,
on.
the Leonard Skinner thing surprises me. The whole... Because, that's... Southern rock. All right, yes, it did start with the Allman Brothers. But Skinner, come on.
Skinner, I'm furious about.
The fact that the plane went down, they should be in for that.
They're
going to put Buddy Holly and the La Bamba Kid in there. You got to throw something to them Skinner boys.
I agree. Whichever ones are still alive, they should at least get thrown a bone,
Sure.
Definitely.
And plus, I always like giving things to dead people anyway. All right, Lorraine has something to add. Lorraine, you're on line 2. Lorraine, go ahead.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're calling the gang.
Shake it up.
Which, by the way, calling the gang didn't make it either.
Oh.
All right. I agree with Eddie. Like, this whole thing is a joke. I mean, last year you had Queen and Aerosmith. All right, legitimate. What about Chicago? I mean,
this is
a band who's been in there for 30 years, turning out the hits. Where are they?
Yeah, but
Chicago. They keep changing up the lineup.
Doesn't matter.
Here's what I'd like to see. You put Chicago, Boston, and Kansas all in the same year.
No.
And you just start to take care of people. And you put a big map up.
All right, what about the Righteous Brothers? Why are they in?
Well, the Righteous Brothers, that's more of a 50s thing. I can't really remember,
You lost that loving feeling?
Yeah, I mean, that was big.
See, the thing is that they say that it's rock experts allegedly that vote on this thing, right? I want to know who the rock experts are, because my take on why a lot of the hard rock and metal stuff gets snubbed is that it's never been taken seriously by these highbrow type critics, and they're going to go put Elvis Costello in before they put Black Sabbath. To me, it's a joke. I love some of Elvis's stuff, but you got to be kidding me. Black Sabbath influenced generations of artists and still does.
So you're thinking, I remember when Elvis Costello came out, the critics loved him.
Right.
They never loved Sabbath.
Right.
They obviously, a lot of the bands that we're talking about, Leonard Skinner was never embraced by the critics. So it's the same people who, let's say, put people like that on the front of, Rolling Stone magazine 25 years ago, are the same people voting today.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how long some of this hard rock and metal stuff endures and how much impact it has on generations of people. There's still that sort of, lofty, highbrow critic that thinks that it's still beneath them and doesn't take it seriously. And it doesn't matter how many records they sell, and it's a total joke. There was an artist that once said, I don't remember who they said, but they said, the critics like people like Elvis Costello so much because they look so much like him.
That was David Lee Roth who said that.
Was it?
Which, now, all these years later, Elvis Costello is actually better looking than David Lee Roth. That's the irony of calling somebody else ugly. All right, Evan, you're on line 4. Eddie Trunk is here, who does the Big Metal Show. How you doing, Evan?
Hey, guys.
Hi, buddy.
The thing with Black Sabbath, Ozzy has said repeatedly in interviews that he would turn down any honors from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because he always said that he wasn't in it for that.
Right.
And
unless they came in a beer mug.
I think that he'll do whatever his wife tells him is best for him.
There you go. The other thing that's so stupid is it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and you have to go in a tux. People go in tuxes. What's that got to do with rock and roll? The Waldorf Astoria in a tux.
All right, just because you can't find a tux on your side.
Right. Now, all right, so maybe what you need, Eddie, is like some kind of metal Hall of Fame. Maybe that'll make you happy. And you could be the guy who spearheads it.
Right.
There you go. We'll start it right here in New York or something.
Who would go in first?
In a Metal Hall of Fame.
Oh, man. Probably somebody like Black Sabbath.
Sabbath before, let's say, Led Zeppelin?
Led Zeppelin, there you go. That's another one. Hendrix.
Someone has to be first.
I mean, Hendrix, even though he isn't really considered a metal artist, his guitar playing had a profound impact on hard rock and metal music, so you got to look, as far back as that. You go back, people would say Iron Butterfly and, all that 60s stuff. I mean, that had an impact as well.
All right, yeah, sure. You could throw a blue chair in there or something like that.
Yep.
All right, here's Patty on line 7. Patty, you're on Ron and Fez. Say hi to Eddie Trunk. He's with us tonight.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Patty.
Yeah, but why don't they just call it the Music Hall of Fame?
That's what I said.
You know how they throw those divas all together, like everyone's a diva now?
Well, that doesn't seem like it'd be fun to go to.
Women singers of the world.
All right, now, if you add music, then suddenly you got to put Benny Goodman in it.
Right.
Well, what's with all those divas? Everyone's a diva.
All right, well, forget the divas. They're not going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
But you're going to have Guns N' Roses and Yo-Yo Ma going in on the same year.
Eminem will be there next year.
All right, thanks, Patty. She saw one VH1 thing and she's mad.
Everybody wants to know Van Halen's eligible next year, and they should be. But then again, you can't assume anything. But they should be first ballot, and that would be with the Roth lineup. So everybody wants to know how they'll handle that if they get inducted.
They'll take the award, and David will say they're getting back together, and Eddie will lie to him, and everyone will cry again.
Eddie will get his feelings hurt by something David said.
And David will wear those cargo pants again, or whatever he was wearing.
That Eddie Van Halen is the most sensitive little man I've ever seen. Just anything can make him cry. All right, here's Kyle on line 4. Kyle, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Kyle. Kyle, go ahead, buddy.
How you doing?
Hey, big fan. But the reason a lot of these bands don't make it is because they hang on so long after their prime. Like, that's why Chicago's not in. Black Sabbath isn't going to get in because they were too distinctive with two different lineups. And Kiss shouldn't get in because those guys didn't even play on their own records.
Kiss didn't play on their own records, Eddie?
Not the first 4 records, no.
First 4, they did play on the first 4. They haven't played on some. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley have played on some of the last couple albums, but they've credited members throughout their career to be on the records that really weren't. But
what are they, Milli Vanilli and makeup?
They really
What's
are.
going
They're
on
the
there?
original Milli Vanilli.
I never knew this about Kiss. They can't play?
No. Because of certain, substance abuses and problems and falling out from certain
All right,
members.
Eddie, now let's go. Let's go back. If it was the Baseball Hall of Fame, it's going to be harder for a DH to get in. You know this. You got to be able to play the game, and these guys aren't playing.
When you're looking at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you're looking at, I think, the broader perspective, not just, well, how many records did they sell? Are they hip still today? Are they relevant? What lineup did they have? I think you're looking at the entire history and impact that a band has made or has not made with their career.
They should go with most substance abuse problems.
Well, I think there's other stronger candidates. But
why don't they? Maybe they'll get in on we didn't play on our own album.
Yeah, them and the Partridge Family will go in on the same ballot.
Now you're making them mad.
But one of the other callers brought up a point about these guys being past their prime. Who is inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame after 25 years that isn't past their prime right now?
Yeah, but I think what he's saying is some people don't hold on. Some of the people are smart enough to die early, get that over with.
Sure. That always helps.
We're not.
It's not going to hurt your chances, Eddie.
We're not wheeling Buddy Holly out there. And God knows he would have started making some crappy music. All right, here's John on line 7. John.
Hey, John, go ahead. Johnny.
Yo.
Go ahead, buddy.
Guys. What about ELP, man? They were big changing music.
Yeah, for the worst.
Get out of here. Come on.
They should have put an H in front of ELP.
Hey, be nice.
Help us!
Later, guys.
But see, that's the thing, guys. It's all subjective as to who's good and who's not. That's why I think you have to throw that out.
I think we can all agree that ELP is embarrassing now in hindsight. Did Yes ever get in? Did any of that kind of weird art rock stuff get in?
I don't know. Yes, I don't know if Yes is in. I don't think they are.
I don't think Yes is in. I think they said no to Yes.
Well, that's sad. All right, here's Marty on line 4. Marty, you're on.
Hey, Marty.
How are you?
Yes.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. You're on with Eddie Trunk and Ron and Fez.
Eddie, I was just wondering, what's the criteria for when somebody could be voted into the Hall of Fame? And then second of all, if a band like Kiss was to go into the Hall of Fame, what lineup of Kiss would go in? There's been about 4 lineups.
Well, that's the thing. First of all, it's got to be to be nominated. It has to be 25 years after the release of your first album, and that lineup that was on that first album is the lineup that's eligible to go in. And then, like Ron and Fez were talking about earlier, you can actually be eligible for a revised lineup for the first record that came out 25 years from that year that it was released.
I got you. And do you think Gene Simmons will ever be let in for Best Salesman? The guy keeps selling. Every time I see him on TV, he's selling.
He should be. I mean, look, I'm a Kiss fan, but I don't approve of a lot of the things they've done in the last couple of years.
I like the Coffin. I think that was a nice
ridiculous
choice. Thanks, Marty.
Do you know the latest thing they're doing? They're going to Australia, and they're going to perform with the Australian Symphony.
All right, this is the kind of stuff keeping them out.
Right.
All right.
They're not putting out their own bloomin' onion.
All right, let's go over and see whether we agree or not. Let's go over the fact of who's in there this year.
All right. And Eddie, jump in and correct us if we're wrong at all. Here, all right? All right, Elvis Costello and the Attractions going in.
Shouldn't be in yet. There's other people more worthy that should be going in first.
I say Elvis Costello's a genius. He belongs there.
I say he belongs there, but not over people that have been left out already.
All right, next is The Clash.
Definitely belong there.
Absolutely.
All right. The Police.
Yes, they belong there.
Absolutely.
All right, next up, AC/DC, right?
Yeah, it's just a travesty they didn't go in the first year they were eligible.
Yeah, they kind of went in with the veteran squad.
No, but I mean, they should have went in 3 years ago.
Right.
And they were passed over. How do you pass over AC/DC?
Well, I have to go back and look to see who went in that year. But to me, you should only get one shot, and that's it.
Oh, that's bad.
No, you got to take a couple shots.
So that you said they're a 3-time loser, Eddie?
I think this is the third year they were eligible if they finally got in.
Oh, okay. And finally, in this class, the Righteous Brothers.
Before my time.
Yeah, I don't even get that whole thing. I mean, I don't know how big they were.
I think it was just for that song in Ghost where they're making the clay pot. And clay
What was
starts
that one?
Unchained Melodies?
Unchained Melody.
That was them?
Isn't that the Righteous Brothers?
Yes, that is.
All right, then the other one, You Lost That Love and Feeling from Top Gun was them too, right?
Yeah, that's also the Righteous
All right,
Brothers.
so there, what can you do? They're two big movies. You can't fight that. Matter of fact, I put in every band who sang on Footloose into this thing. Let's hear it for the boy. All right.
Get Denise Williams in there. All right, that's who made it this year.
All right, let's go to line 4, Joe. Joe, you're on Ron and Fez.
To say that I thought it was kind of ridiculous last year when the Talking Heads were inducted over something like Van Halen, bands that actually.
Now Van Halen wasn't up last year. They're not going. They don't get a shot till next year.
Right.
No, what I meant is a band of that caliber.
Well, how do you know? Unless you'll see. We just said we think they're going to go in. Talking Heads definitely belong there.
They belong there?
Yeah, definitely.
Talking Heads and Ramones both went in last year, right?
Yeah, and they
the
both
Ramones,
belong there.
The Ramones, I think, belong there. The Talking Heads over, let's say, the Police had more of an impact on rock than
Yes,
the Talking
they went
Heads.
in too.
And they're going in.
Yeah, no, I know they are. And I'm
All
saying
right,
they
thanks,
deserve
Joe.
to be.
He just doesn't like Talking Heads.
He wants them out, and everyone else in.
All right, let's go to Dave at line 10. David, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, yeah, Dave.
Hi. Black Sabbath should have gone in before any of these bands. Look at the way they influenced rock.
Before the Beatles.
The last 20 years of rock is all metal and Black Sabbath, Metallica. They were influenced by Black Sabbath. Everything is basically influenced by Black Sabbath.
Everything is. Even Gilbert and Sullivan. So they were influenced. Thanks.
There you go.
I say
The whole 90s grunge movement was a direct descendant of Black Sabbath.
Yeah, I think we all think that Black Sabbath should have went in.
Black Sabbath, they didn't make it. All right, here's some of the groups passed over. The groups and artists. Chic. The disco outfit Chic.
Freak Out?
Earl's mad now. Earl's mad at you guys right now.
All right, get over here, Earl.
Black Earl, get on a microphone.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Earl.
Black Rock Coalition checking in here. He's very mad. He's steaming in the corner.
Hey, by the way, Earl, we also talked about you at JFK, but they just laughed in our faces.
Right.
The Eddie thing they took very seriously.
They said all our pictures are hung, thank you. Earl, come back.
He's still there. He's just doing that thing where he kind of almost falls down.
Earl, what did you want to say about Chic?
I love Chic.
Because they're black? Come on. They only had the big Freak Out thing. What else did they have?
I know. Why should they go in, Earl?
La Freak. La Chic.
Freak Out.
I mean, they just brought a whole different polish.
Right, for one
style.
song. For one song.
Well, they had other hits. They had Good Times, which is practically...
That wasn't them. That was Jimmy J.J. Walker, Dynamite.
Nile Rodgers was in Chic, right?
Yes, yeah. Nile Rodgers, Bernard Edwards, and the great and painfully underrated Tony Thompson on drums.
Power Station.
Yes. Now, let me tell you, maybe if we ever get a wing of just good bump music that people could actually slap ass to, we'll put Chic in.
No, but Good Times, that song alone was like the backbone of just about every hip-hop song for like the first 10 years of hip-hop.
That's enough to keep them out.
Put in the people who did the Bertha Butt Boogie before them.
That was the Jimmy Castor
I know. They're not going in either. All right, by the way, Sheik stays out because I kept calling him Chick every time I read him.
All right, next group that didn't make it, Swedish pop quartet ABBA.
They don't belong there. They belong where they are now on Broadway.
I don't, that's a tough one because obviously I'm not a fan, but that stuff sold like more records than anything in the world.
But it is not. If they did that, they should just have a criteria and say, here's exactly how many albums you need to sell, and that's what we'll put in.
Well,
it has to be done, with criticism. It's the same exact way that you get in any Hall of Fame.
I don't see where ABBA affected all that much in the course of music.
Supposedly they kept Sweden alive or something ridiculous like that.
Well, they should be kept out for that alone.
Well, I think the one case made by ABBA is the fact that all those vocal harmonies and all that layering that they did with the vocals was imitated and had a big impact years later. But I'm okay with them not being there.
You can live with it?
Yeah, I can deal with that.
I still want to hunt them down and kill them.
Okay, next up, Leonard Skinner.
The Skinner belongs there.
They've got to go in. They absolutely have to be there.
By the way, that's bad news for 38 Special with Molly Hatchet.
Things aren't looking good for us, boys.
You guys, you shouldn't even look up.
Molly Hatchet? I wouldn't even think that would be a consideration, Ron.
Well, if you're going to put the Outlaws in there, you got to think Hatchet as well.
Outlaws aren't in.
No,
they're not?
No.
Blackfoot's in, though.
Yeah, Blackfoot's going to be there.
If they're flirting with disaster, they keep Hatchet out.
All right, so it's just Black Oak, Arkansas, and nothing else. That's where we are now. You don't understand. We worked in Florida for radio for a long time. We know all those guys.
Jim Dandy as a solo artist will get in, but Black Oak won't.
By the way, David Lee Roth owes him money every time he cashes a check.
Absolutely. Just like Marilyn Manson owes Alice Cooper money.
Yeah.
Artemis Pyle babysat me.
That's a good one. Did Cooper ever get in?
No.
All right, that's ridiculous.
It's a joke. It's a total joke.
Yeah.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, to me, is about as relevant and makes about as much sense as the Grammys do every year with their nominations. They're both clueless.
Who else they keep out this year?
All right. Also, Ronnie, the Sex Pistols kept out.
Unbelievable.
Boy, if you're going to put in the Ramones, you got to probably think the Sex Pistols, right?
You would think.
I know they only did the one album, really, but people are still doing movies about it.
All right. Next up, the Patti Smith Group.
I put her in.
I don't know. I just know her from the one song that Springsteen wrote.
Right, I know. That's all you got. By the way, grab horses. Hey, Earl, make sure he takes horses home with him tonight, okay?
Okay.
So what, use it as a coaster?
No. Because next week your whole show will sound different.
Isn't Patti Smith is the one with the hairy armpits and nipples on the cover, right?
You're thinking of Candy Slice that Gilda Radner did of her. But, it's not the Modeling Hall of Fame.
No, I know. I'm just trying to get a point of reference.
That's her.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't, but it is.
All right, the MC5.
Wow.
Kick out the jams.
Yeah, you got to kick out the jams and up against the wall, mother effers. That's so underground. I can understand why I wouldn't make it.
It didn't make it this time out.
That's the Detroit Hall of Fame. Only.
Yeah, right. All right. 8 Mile. That's the 8 Mile Hall of Fame.
The Dells.
I never heard of them.
Oh, what a night.
It's those computer people.
Oh, what a night?
Oh.
Yes.
Computer people.
Dude, you're getting in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, what a night?
Yeah.
Late December back in 63?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That was awful.
I always thought that was Frankie Valli.
Me too.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
The Dells had a ton of hits, 50s and 60s.
But was that one of them?
Yes.
So they did it before Frankie Valli?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Next thing you know, it's
now, how would they had that back in 63? They're saying it must have been 63.
Earl saw a documentary, Standing in the Shadows of the Four Seasons.
Earl, please. All right, what else?
Steve Winwood gets passed over.
Yeah.
Well, is Traffic in?
Yeah, I think Traffic must be there.
So that's good enough.
All right, that's good enough for Winwood?
Yeah, that's plenty.
All right, Kraftwerk.
No, God, no.
No. No one.
I don't know Kraftwerk.
No one German.
Trans-Europe Express.
I'd put Nana in before Kraftwerk.
Falco.
Very nice.
I put Edie Falco in there first before all of them.
Their commissar.
All right, please, Earl. Go ahead.
And finally, of course, Black Sabbath.
Sabbath, who I guess will never get in.
Ever?
No.
You know, the biggest joke will be is that Ozzy goes in solo before Sabbath goes in as a band. That will be the most unbelievable joke in the world if that happens.
Kelly Osbourne will go in before Black Sabbath.
She's great. All right, we got to take a break. You're off, Eddie? You got to go do that gig?
I'm going to go check out Jerry Cantrell, yep.
All right, my friend.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, buddy.
Enjoy D.C.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
All right.
We'll talk when we get back.
Thanks.
All right, people saying a lot of good things about him down here, Fuzzy.
They certainly are.
Boy,
yeah.
They say nice things
The
about
buzz on Eddie Trunk is very big at D.C.
I got the check waiting for you guys when you get back.
All right, you think you're kidding. All right, we'll take a break. It's the Ron Fez Show.